Hi, I'm Laura Fleckett of Soul Solutions, and today I am here to talk about innovation soaring to new heights. And this is part two. Part one I did yesterday. Actually, I just did part two, but didn't have the broadcast on. So I went through. So this is actually number 8, broadcast number 8 today. I had 6 shows at the television studio, and now I'm doing number 2 here. So that brings us to a grand total of 8. Let me tell you, you get better and better each show you do. Today, I'm going to be soaring after all of this. So anyway, yesterday I talked a lot about the subconscious behavior patterns that are holding us back. I talked about the negative messages that children get, and often the reason why children are tend to be negative and adults tend to be negative is because of the number of negative messages per positive message that they get each day. So in a home environment, children get 15 negative messages to one positive, and an educational environment, it's 300 to 1. So don't be surprised when kids really have, like, exhibit negative behavior, because they're getting all these negative messages. Speaking of the subconscious mind takes in these messages and it stores these messages. I talked all about that yesterday. So you can go on and you can look at part 1 to really learn more about this. But the messages that the subconscious gets, most of those messages and most of those ideas are imprinted in our subconscious before we're 6 years old. So children at 4, 5, 3, there's things that they just physically can't do. They can't do them. The subconscious is being told, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Or you can't do that. And in reality, they, of course, take in those messages. The same things that a 3 and 4 and 5-year-old couldn't do, a 20, 30, 40-year-old can do. But we keep reverting back to our subconscious mind. The subconscious messages and our behavior patterns are leading us to believe that we can't do the things that we, in fact, could very easily do. One of the important things that we do is our conscious mind comes up with an idea. I want to do this. I really want to do this. I think I could do it. And the subconscious mind doesn't say, no, 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 we're not doing that. It starts to undermine that idea. It starts to say, we really don't want to do that. That's like a lot of work. All these bad things could come about. You could fail. You could be the laughing stock. People could think you're crazy, whatever. But that's the subconscious mind is trying to get out of the work that it's going to take to actually do what the conscious mind wants to do. So what happens is the subconscious mind erodes the conscious mind and tries to put up these roadblocks and these messages that it's a bad idea. And the conscious mind is basically talked out of it. The real difference between success and not being successful, maybe even not trying to be successful, is the relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, if it can either fuel you forward or hold you back. So how do we get that subconscious mind to be on our side, be working for us, be fueling our growth and pushing us ahead and driving us, launching us like a rocket? How do we make that happen? Well, we need to prepare our environment and the things that we have around us for our success. There are certain things that we take into normal everyday life that can be really holding us back, feeding our subconscious, making us feel bad about ourselves. That's another thing I talked a lot about yesterday, the emotional scale. and how the emotional scale really dictates how creative, how dynamic, how exciting, how successful, how innovative, everything. When you're in a higher place with your emotion and you're feeling good and you're feeling powerful and you're feeling like you can take on the world, your innovation goes way, way up. But if you're feeling insecure, negative, unhappy, like maybe like a loser, whatever, like you're going to fail, your innovation is way down. So as that negativity goes up, your innovation goes down. There's no way that you can be innovative and creative. So it's important that we stay in that higher place, that higher emotional scale. And the higher we can stay on our emotional scale, on that emotional scale, the easier it's going to be for us to achieve success. Another thing that we can do, and I have my cheat sheet here, another thing we can do is we can try to take care of the incompletes that we have and the messes in our life. So as I walk through my house, I see things, that maybe aren't finished. I do a lot of remodeling, and there's some things that are just not finished yet. And I work on getting those finished. I, try to get the contractor back, and you know what that's like sometimes, but try to stay on it to get these incompletes to be wrapped up. Now there's messes. And I notice that when I'm in a messy environment, it's very hard for me to create. It's very hard for me to sit down, want to sit at my desk, and want to get some work done. So look at the messes that you have in your life. You might want to take and walk through the house and kind of jot them down room by room. Maybe open up that drawer that you have in the kitchen that's filled with stuff. Maybe in the car, maybe your car is kind of messy. The trunk is messy, or maybe I have a room where it's a prop room and there's tons of things in there. And I say to myself all the time, Lori, you're having a garage sale. And every time I'm saying, a garage sale is a great idea. Yes, I'm going to plan that garage sale for the next month. But you know what? The most amazing thing about next month is it never comes. I don't do the garage sale. I want to do the garage sale. I have the best intentions. And then my subconscious mind says, oh, that garage sale is going to be a lot of work. And you're going to have to drag all that stuff out. And what if you don't sell it? And, people are going to be coming and they're going to be, complaining maybe. And they're, you're going to have that stuff and it's going to be 2 days and you're going to make $100. And I have a lot of stuff. I think I could make a lot more than $100, but this is the subconscious. You could spend that time working and really moving forward. Well, it would be really nice to have those messes and those incompletes taken care of, so my mind is more free. So the question is, as you're going through your house, are there any of those things that you can pick up and do right now? Anything that you can, maybe it's the stack of magazines you have, maybe you can get rid of some of those, recycle them. Maybe it's collecting extra papers and getting those out. Maybe it's taking the clothes that you have that you've never used or aren't going to use or have used and you're not going to use again. Maybe you can take those to Goodwill. It's what can you do today? What small thing can you do today so you're experiencing success and you're getting rid of the stuff that you have that are the messes? Because the more you can free up your space, the more you can clean your environment, the more you can be in that space where then you can be creative and you can be in that higher place of, wow, I feel good. I got rid of 150 magazines today, or whatever it is. The better you can feel, the more innovative, the more creative, and the more dynamic. And this is starting to signal to the subconscious, we're on the move. We're going to be doing things. We're going to start cleaning this place up and getting this stuff organized and getting it out of here. And the subconscious will say, no, no, no. And you have to be very firm and you have to move forward with your goal of starting to clean up your environment, frees you up. And then what is the true cost of having clutter? The true cost of having clutter is very high, because what we're giving up for that clutter is we're giving up our creativity, feeling good about ourselves. Subconsciously, we go through our life and we don't, the conscious mind might not be aware of the clutter. Yeah, the conscious mind will say, I have to clean that up one of these days. But the subconscious mind is like, there's so much stuff. So the subconscious mind gets bogged down and it's not able to move forward and it doesn't feel good. So really, the true cost of having the clutter and the things not done are very, very high. So just choose one and then work on that one. Choose something you can start and complete right away today. So tonight, when you go to bed, you can lay in bed and say, wow, I got that one thing done. Isn't that great? Wow, I'm on a roll. And then tomorrow, you take the next thing. Talking about difficult or troubling situations, we all have them. Might have a family member we're not getting along with, or we might have a situation that is bothering us and we're not taking control of that situation. So what one troubling or difficult situation do you have in your life that's bothering you? And how are you creating that or allowing it to be there? Look at your part of it, because if you can look at your part of it and you can take responsibility for your part of it, what you're able to do is you're able to take control of that situation. The other question that's very important is to ask yourself, what are you pretending not to know about that particular situation? So you could be pretending to not to know that clutter is holding you back and causing you a lot of problems. It's cluttering your mind and keeping you from achieving your success. And then the next question is, what is the payoff for keeping it like it is? What's that payoff? Well, we're not cleaning up, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. Well, we're enjoying ourselves in front of the TV, or, we're hanging out, we're spending more time out of our house than we should because we're trying to escape the clutter subconsciously. And we're just saying, well, you know what? We got to meet with this one, we got to meet with that one. The reality is there is a payoff for us in keeping it like it is. So that payoff, maybe we have more freedom outside, or we hang out with friends more, or we allow ourselves not to go for our dreams and to reach our goals, because we allow this clutter or these things that are cluttering our mind to prevent us from reaching our goals. It's very insidious the way this works. So really look at what the payoff is. And then the question is, what would you rather be experiencing? If you think big in the wildest dreams term, what is it you would rather be experiencing in your life? And if you can think about that and you can come up with this big life, this big dream, maybe it doesn't even have to be big. Maybe it's just like, oh, I want to experience fresh air in my house and a lot of empty counter space. I mean, it's a great one. It doesn't have to be this huge, I want to travel around the world on an airplane. It doesn't have to be that. It can be something that's important to you. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It's just important to you. So think about what you'd rather be experiencing, and then what are the actions you need to take to get there? What do you need to do to start experiencing your dream? And it could be very small, tiny actions just done on a regular basis, because those actions, those big actions that you do once in a while, are not nearly as important as those everyday actions. When we think about that, it automatically reminds me of Tom Corley's book, Rich Habits. Now, the Rich Habits, people will go on Amazon and they give you a review. Well, this stuff is very simple. It's stuff that everybody can do every day. Yes, but how many people actually do it every day? And how often do we do it once and we think, okay, well, I did it once. No, no, no. It's what you're doing every single day. That's the important thing. So when we think about the actions that we need to take, what actions do we need to take to experience what it is we want to experience? Start taking those actions, because the action is really the important thing. All the dreaming, you know, James Malinchak talks about this all the time. That's his big problem with The Secret. He says The Secret, they visualize and they meditate and they do this and they do that and they do the other thing, and they believe it's going to happen and they live in the possibility. But in that whole concept of The Secret, James's big issue is they're not talking that much about action. And James is very action oriented. James Malinchak was one of the ABC Secret Millionaires, so you might know him from that. And he runs a phenomenal speaker boot camp. I mean, he's a very dynamic and aggressive guy. He's an amazing story. But James will say, what's the action? The action is where the chance of getting that success actually is. So it's the action steps we do. And then the next question, and this one, hold on to your hats. By when are you going to take that action? Like my garage sale. In the next month, next month, next month, next month. And before you know it, it's November and we can't have a garage sale in Minnesota in November. No, no, no. It needs to be next month. That's really next month. So when are you going to take these actions? The sooner you start, the better. And in difficult and troubling situations, often we're not really honest with ourselves. We're not really being honest. We may be blaming, we may be complaining, we may be, talking to our friends and saying, oh, this is terrible, woe is me. But the reality is, if we were being honest with ourselves, we would be honest enough to say that we are allowing this situation to happen. And the more we allow this situation to happen, the more we complain, the more we feed into the victimization of the situation. And we're not really in touch with the fact that we have 100% control. Now, when we talk about control, we don't have 100% control over everything. We don't have control over the event. We have control over our response to the event. When we respond differently, we can come up with a different outcome. Jack Canfield talks about the formula. There's an equation, E plus R equal O, and it's the event plus the response equal the outcome. And we have control over the R, which is the response. So if we control our response, we can pretty much control our outcome. If we don't take responsibility, we can't control our response. We don't have one. It's the event that has all the power. We need to take our power back by having the response and taking control of the response. And that way we can at least control the outcome. Now, we can't always control the outcome, but we can control what happens with our response. And at least we've done something and we've improved our situation through our response. And then we're pretending that there's something in the situation that we don't know, that there's some type of outcome, there's something happening, and we're pretending that we don't know. But in reality, we know. When we're in a bad relationship maybe, or our business is going well, we pretty much know what we need to do. Maybe sometimes we need to bring in other people's help. Maybe we need to ask for help. Maybe we need to take the bull by the horns, change what we're doing. We need to, very possibly, we need to go to an event and learn from other people around us, maybe get a mentor, get a mastermind group. There's something that we need to do. And if we sit and pretend that everything is okay, it's not going to be helpful to us. So take the bull by the horns and make the changes you need to make. And the time to make those changes, I hate to say it, it's now. Yeah. Yep. So let's talk for a minute about the path to innovation. If we live in the outer limits of our achievement, our chances of reaching our goals are multiplied many, many, many times over. Because if we stay in this space of where we're comfortable, where we're warm and safe and happy, and where we really don't have to do very much, we are not going to achieve our success. The only way we're going to achieve our success is to reach out into our comforts, outside of our comfort zone. So I did that with my Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts on air, I do tape television, and tape television is relatively easy. If you make a mistake or you have a blooper or whatever, the control room guy, who for me is Tony Rose, will just edit that out, and you just start fresh from the next clip, and let's just go. This is not like this. So for me, this was reaching outside my comfort zone, and I allowed myself to be bad at doing this. I allowed myself to do this poorly because I knew if I could learn this skill, then it would open up many other things for me. So my motto is allow yourself to do something poorly at first if it's important. And this way, you will get better and you will learn. So anything that's worth doing well is worth doing poorly at first. Allow yourself that freedom to not be great at something immediately. We can't be great at everything, but we can learn, and we can learn to be good. And as we learn to be good at something, we find that there are other things around that are being affected positively by the learning that we've done, by the new skill that we have acquired. So it's important that we live in the outer limits of our achievement. And innovation lives outside of your comfort zone. So when we look at it, the more you stay inside your comfort zone, the less chances you're going to have of actually achieving success. So it's a good idea if you really get comfortable being uncomfortable. It's hard to do that because you're afraid. There's a lot of fear involved. But if you come in contact and in touch with the fear and you say, what's the worst thing that can happen to me during that? What's the thing that if it happened would be so terrible, it would be devastating? Usually there's nothing that devastating for you, but the rewards of getting outside your comfort zone and learning and growing and doing something are really great. So don't be afraid to reach out. And some people say we should always be reaching outside our comfort zone. Be really moving forward and every day trying something new and trying something that is scary. We have to be in a state of fear, and it becomes, in a way, it becomes a little like we almost feel like if we're not in that state of fear, we're not doing enough. So we become so comfortable being uncomfortable that we want to remain in that state of fear because that's where we know success lies. And then what we do is we benchmark. Now, often, as we're climbing that ladder, that mountain to success, what ends up happening is we keep moving and, we're going, 5 feet further, 10 feet further. We're moving. Some days we feel like we're just almost there. We stop, we forget to stop and look back down the mountain and see how far we've gone. We just keep looking up and looking up and looking up. And sometimes, and I've seen this happen with clients, they set what they think is a really lofty goal, and then they achieve that really lofty goal. And what ends up happening is they say, wow, I achieved my yearly goal in 3 months. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And they say, I don't understand why I set a goal that was so easy to achieve. I really don't set big enough goals. So what I think I really need to do is reset that goal and make that goal be real. And then they'll set that goal, a much bigger goal, and they'll achieve that in like 3 or 4 months. And then again, instead of celebrating, they're chastising themselves that they haven't set a big enough goal. Well, how about you set a really nice goal, a large goal, and you work so hard and so smart that you were able to achieve that. Yay, congratulations, I'm fab, I'm doing the deal. And you congratulate yourself, you celebrate it, go out to dinner, go dancing, maybe go on a trip, do something that you really want to do to celebrate. And then you always have that, you know, if you decide you want to buy something that you wouldn't normally buy, that's a symbol of your success. Like I did that. I bought my first Movado watch. It was a symbol of my success. Whenever I looked down to see what time it was, I looked and I saw, I have been successful and I'm going to continue to be successful. Here's my success token. So when you purchase something like that, it helps you to understand how you can be successful, or how to, it stimulates you to be more successful, but it celebrates the success you've already had. So really it's important that you benchmark and look back and see how far you've come, and then celebrate your successes. We don't celebrate enough. We absolutely don't celebrate enough. And making innovation happen, well, one of the ways to make innovation happen is just to keep trying. Just open your mind and keep trying. One of the things that I learned about innovation is I worked for this company, and what we were supposed to try to do was to come up with really great ideas. We were, it was a company who would bring, other companies would come in and they would come up with, they would hire people to go into that company and create new ideas. And so I was on the new idea committee. So I went in and there was a group of like 8 of us, and it was a focus group, and we were all just ideating. And the first thing that they had us do was to come up with the worst possible idea we could come up with for a product. And they gave us some parameters around that product. And people in the group, they came up with some really crazy products. I mean, they really did a great job. And they said that if we came up with the worst possible idea, the idea that would get us fired, just an idea that was just so ridiculous, then we've already voiced the most ridiculous idea. So any idea that we've had after that was a good idea. So this is a way that you might use in your team when you're working with a team of people and you want them to be creative and innovative, to free them of not, you know, being afraid to come up with a bad idea, or to voice an idea that they're saying it could be bad. All ideas are good. This is one way to go about allowing them the freedom to come up with new ideas. If they've already come up with the worst idea, any idea that they can come up with after that is a good one. Stick with it, but remain flexible. Donald Trump tells a story about how he knew this guy, and he put, you know, he really believed in his idea, which is good. And he put everything on the line for this idea. If this idea wasn't going to work, that was it. He was going to be out of the game. Donald Trump said, that's a bad idea. But the other thing is, he had a whole team of people that were giving him advice on how to adjust his idea to work and be more successful. And Donald Trump said one of the things that really brought him down was that he was not flexible. He wasn't taking other people's advice. He wasn't adjusting his idea at all. And often as entrepreneurs, we start out with one idea for our business, and it kind of morphs and changes as we're working with clients and we're getting customers. Our idea changes and it grows and it adjusts. And the more we're able to take in information, the more we're adjusting our product, our service, the easier it is for us to be successful, because the idea that we start with might not be the be all that ends all. And as other people are bringing ideas in, it allows us to be more successful. So really take those ideas, incorporate those ideas in, and let people know what it is that you're doing that that is allowing you to be successful. So share that success with other people. Also take risk. We talked about that. Try something new. I could go hang out on air. What's the worst thing that can happen? Doesn't matter. Just do it. And then get started now. Don't wait. There's nothing that's preventing you. There's nothing that's holding you back. The more quickly you can try ideas, the more quickly you can learn new skills, the more quickly you're going to move forward, the easier it's going to be for you to achieve your success. And not every idea is going to succeed, but it's okay. Many of those ideas you might not be able to continue with. Maybe they're not working, whatever. Maybe they're taking you off your direction. Maybe your clientele isn't there. Maybe your customers aren't in that space. It doesn't matter. Enough of those ideas are going to work out. And remember, success lives outside your comfort zone. So I actually have more to take us through. I didn't finish this today. I normally do this in a 2-hour and 50-minute presentation. So there's a lot of information here. I'm not able to complete it all. I wasn't able in a half hour. I'm not able in an hour. It's okay. I'm not going to rush through this. This stuff is too important to really rush through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. In the meantime, I invite you to check out soltarsbusinessonthebeach.com. I hold retreats. I talk a lot about this stuff in retreats and help people to understand how they can get over their subconscious messages, their subconscious behavior patterns, to recognize them and use that subconscious to fuel you forward, to push you out there instead of holding you back, acting like an anchor and not allowing you to move forward. The subconscious can be your friend or your foe. So what I want to do is to help you understand your subconscious behavior and help you move it forward. So thank you so much. Oh, I'd love you to subscribe to this, give me comments, let me know what you think, share it if you liked it, and also if there's something else, a topic that you want to know about. I have 13 years of information in the computer. I've worked with and met and studied with some of the thought leaders of our day, and have been really aggressive about taking their information in and learning from them. So if there's something you want to know about, let me know what it is. And I'm sure I can, either I have something on that or I know someone who knows about that, and maybe I'll organize a hangout and interview them, have them on my TV show, whatever. But I want to be able to provide you with the things that you want to know. And also check out my Business on the Beach retreats. They're fun, they're fabulous, they're exciting, and they're very, very valuable. So thanks so much. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and really keep me posted on how it's going. I want to hear the success stories and the challenges as well. Take care. Bye-bye now.